Hi guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you not new, thank you so much for continuing to come back and support my channel. I appreciate all of you so very much. Today we are going to be diving into some decluttering. So as you guys know, throughout the beginning of the year, well, not actually the beginning of the year, the latter half of the year, I was going through my collection with you all in hopes that by this time I would be able to go through some declutters. I know there's a couple other collection videos that you guys are going to see. Those aren't giant portions of my collection and probably not giant portions of things that I'm going to declutter. So I also want to have simultaneously the things that I'm decluttering going on throughout this month as well, so that you guys get a little bit of both going on my channel. I've already went through the majority of my collection with you guys and want to start decluttering. You guys know that at the end of the year I often do an inventory video to talk to you about what is in my collection, and I have some targets to hit from my inventory collection from last year that I don't really think I'm anywhere close to hitting. So with that being said, doing my collection videos with you guys really spawned on the idea and the fact actually that I have a lot in my collection that I don't use, won't use, or that's just getting old, right? So I have quite a bit that I want to run through in declutters. This is my declutter intro. You will probably see it in every declutter that I do this month. So get real familiar with this face because you'll see it. I also recorded a couple other videos with this same makeup, this same dress. Please excuse this face the 900 times that you guys are going to see it over the next 31 days because you will see it often. And without further ado, if a declutter sounds like something that you are in it for, please keep watching. All right, so today we are going to be decluttering drawers. So this is all the things in my vanity that I can find means within my heart to part with. So you guys saw already the single shadows and glitters and stuff like that in the top shelves of my drawers. This is everything in the bottom shelves. So all that stuff, everything other than my palettes is what is in here, and everything other than what I've already decluttered with you folks. So I'm going to start with these guys because they're palettes. This is a palette that I purchased and then stuck some stuff into, and I never reached for these when they were singles. So when I depotted them and put them into here, I really did think that I was going to reach for them. But I have a single Hula, a full-size Hula that I reach for more than this. And I also have one in my Cheek Leaders palette that I reach for more than this. I have this one also in the Cheek Leaders palette, I think, or this one. I have these both in a full-size form. I don't use the Hula light. You guys can see, I think, that all of these are actually pretty broken when I depotted them. I'm not the best at depotting anyways, but when I depotted them, I trashed them. So I am actually going to give all of these in this to my daughter. I think that she'll have a good time playing with it. This is an eyeshadow by Bronx 2 that is actually a really pretty eyeshadow. I just don't reach for it, and probability states is because I have like lots of blues and much better blues in my collection than this one. So I don't foresee me ever getting any use out of that. My daughter will probably get far more use out of it than I do for sure. And then these two are by Elizabeth Mott. They're singles that I got in an IPSY bag at some point in time. So this one is just like a chrome color. It's actually pretty as well. It's got kind of a lavender tint to it. I think I've worn it once since I received it, and it's been years. And then this one is just a really pretty, you know, orangey brown shimmer. I just won't wear them. I don't reach for them. I won't wear them. So these are all going. This is a palette that was broken. I think you guys saw me realize that it was broken in my collection of face palettes, but these are just shades that I won't wear. I have the Aurora Glow palette by ABH, and if I'm going to pick a colored highlight, that's the formula I'm going to pick from. I don't like Revolution as a makeup brand. I always get sucked into their products, and then I'm always so mad at myself for having purchased it later. This is the Ultra Cool Glow palette. I don't even know if they sell this anymore, but you know, my 9-year-old will love this palette. So I am not saying that these aren't horrible, because they absolutely are kind of pretty, but I am saying they're just not for me. They're just not for me. I won't wear them on my face. These are just not tones that I'll wear on my face. And if it came down to it, like, could I wear them as an eyeshadow? Sure, but I've got a ton of eyeshadows in my collection that I will pull from first, so I just don't see any return on investment of keeping it. This is a blush palette by Revolution Pro, and the blush palette queen, and I really don't mind this blush palette, but I have better blushes in my collection. The blushes are rather balmy. They're kind of highlighty. So, and really not super pigmented. I have this contour palette. This is by Bronx 2, the same people that blue eyeshadow belonged to. And this is cream product. This is just, I've used it a couple times, and now it's just to the point where it's kind of old in my collection. And you guys can see that is so orange. That quote unquote contour is so orange. That's more of a like a bronzer, which is fine. I could use it as a bronzer, but I know me, and I know I'm not going to. And then that's the highlight, which isn't a bad highlight, honestly, but I would use this highlight, but it's also, again, like I said, really rather old in my collection. So I think it just needs to become a play toy for my daughter, and she can do what she wants to with it, and it's not going to hurt my feelings. I honestly think I picked that up from Ulta for like $1 back in the day. This is the only other palette that I have in here, and it's the Pure Sculptor. I really did love this product. I got a lot of usage out of this product, but now I'm starting to see the presentation of it being way too old in my collection. There's like moisture spots in this contour here. God, look, it's just a pretty perfect shade of contour. It's just old. Both this shade and this shade have those moisture spots, which I don't quite understand because it's in my beauty room here, and this is a bedroom, so I don't understand why it's got moisture spots. But if I remember correctly, I've had this long enough that it did used to live in my bathroom. It still smells like chocolate. I mean, even this far from my face, it still smells like chocolate. So I think I'm going to give it to my daughter. She can play with it. It's old. I wouldn't do anything else with it but toss it. So then I have some singles of a whole lot of stuff. I'm going to start here just because I pulled this out to use on my lips the other day, and I know I did my lipstick declutter last week. But this is the lip gloss by ABH in Kristen, and this just smells, yeah, this smells so bad. I think that this is too old for me to be putting on my lips these days. It is such a beautiful color though. I loved this lip gloss. I did get a lot of use out of it. This was just a deluxe sample that I got with gift with purchase from Ulta, I do believe, but that is going in the trash can. I have this Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Radiance Drops. You guys, I don't really get this product because it's radiance drops, so you would think that it gives you some kind of like, I don't know, radiance, right? But it really just doesn't. It's really just, it's like water. It goes on your skin and like soaks it. Maybe it's a facial oil, maybe, but I don't ever use it. So I think I've used it twice. I'm going to see if my older daughter wants it, and if she does, cool beans. If not, I might put it up on Poshmark in a bundle. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with these products right now, but hey, one thing before I forget, on my last declutter, my last 2 declutters actually, I had somebody DM me on Instagram asking me to give them all my makeup. I'm just going to say right here now, that's not going to happen. I do have people that these items will go to, and if they don't go to those people, I will be selling it on Poshmark if it's new enough, or it will be going into the trash can. So please do not ask me for my makeup, because I will not be giving you an answer that is probably okay with you. So that being said, let's go through the rest. These are two other lipsticks that I put in here because I forgot to go through them, I guess, in my last one. This is Rose Pop by Clinique. It is a color that I have worn once that I just cannot wear. It is such a bright, bright pink, and it's just not a color for me. I do know that my daughter will love this though, so I'm gonna give that to her. And then this is a lipstick by Ulta Beauty. I love Ulta Beauty's lipsticks, but this is just not a color that I wear. And also it is really old in my collection, so this one will be going into the trash can because it smells like Play-Doh at this point, which I know it didn't smell like at first. I love Ulta Beauty collection. What I love most is like this piece comes off the bottom and you can use this to like just dip your finger in and touch up your lip. It is the coolest that lipstick companies do this. I know that Ulta Beauty isn't the only one, but I think this is the first time I ever realized that they did that, and was just mesmerized by that entirely. I'm getting rid of this. This is the Tarte Sculptor. This also came to me in a create your own Tarte kit. It is supposed to be a contouring wand, and as you guys saw just now, it's broken, but beyond that, it also is really red. Like, what is with contour being so warm? And trying to blend this out is just a mess. It's too creamy, I think, for a contour. But I don't know if you guys can also see, but it just sucks right into all of your pores, and you can see every imperfection that you have in your face when you're wearing this item. So that'll go into the trash can. So this is the Ulta Beauty Tinted Eye Primer. I do like this eye primer. I just gave away a new one, still wrapped in the package. I should have kept it because this one, when I tried to put some on the other day, and I have mixed it up quite a bit now, this one is just not performing the way it has in the past. But look at how pretty that is. It's a beautiful eye primer. I loved using this all the time under like metallics because it would help to get them to stick better. I would say this would be perfect for a like eyeshadow all on its own as well, if you're into that like balmy eyeshadow effect, but it just doesn't perform like it used to, so I need to get rid of it because I think it's too old to be in my collection these days. I have this Note blush. It's so funny because I just watched my friend Lisa show how she has panned this blush and how she loved this. I think it was like #1 in her collection, and I should have known that. This was a giant blush. It's 5.5 grams of product. You guys can see how thick the compact is, but the compact is that thick because it's also got this brush under here that you can use. I've never used that brush, but this is the blush, and a little dabble do you of this blush. Look how pigmented that is. I just have a hard time with this blush, whereas Lisa loves it because of the pigmentation. I hate it because of the pigmentation. I can't get it the perfect pigmentation for my cheeks, and I don't want a blush that is that damn orange on my cheeks. I do love the blush. I think it's a beautiful blush. I think it's not like super hard pressed, and I have used it quite extensively. It used to say Note in there, and I think if you look really, really hard, you might be able to see that it used to say Note in there. Okay, maybe not. Maybe you can't. It used to say Note in there, and it doesn't anymore. So I have used it quite a bit, but I just can't get it to work for me in the fashion that I want it to work for me. So I am going to get rid of that. This is a blush by Sugar. Sugar is a brand that was introduced to me through IPSY, I do believe, and it's not a bad brand, but I really honestly haven't found love or joy with very many products that they've sent over. This is one of their mini blushes, and it is in the shade Peach Peak, and their powders are so soft. So soft. Can you guys see it at all? Yeah. No, me neither. So I need a blush that lands somewhere between this one and between the last one that I showed you, because I can't see this one at all. and the other one I could see way too much. I don't want to work to get blush on my cheeks. I don't, but I also don't want it to show up as pigmented as it does in the Note blush, because then I feel like I have clown cheeks. This, my skin just eats this blush, and I don't know why. You can't even tell I'm wearing it. I also have this. This is by Vintage Cosmetics by Jessica Liebskind. I don't know. This is an illuminating face highlight in rose gold, and I really did love this highlight. You guys can see the packaging is disgusting. It's white. It's been used and abused. The highlight has also been used and abused. I know that you guys can't really see it, but maybe you can. It does have quite a bit of usage out of it, in addition to the fact that when it came to me, it was completely shattered. So when I repressed it, I tried to repress it without any kind of chemical or anything in that, because I didn't want the formula to change. And I don't think that the formula changed, but I also don't think I set it up very well for success, because it just doesn't look good on my skin anymore, in addition to the fact that it's got those moisture bumps on it. So I know that it's getting old in my collection, but that is it right there on the palm of my hand. I think that it is gorgeous. I just can't wear it anymore, because every time I do, it flakes, it falls apart. It's just not stable. Okay, and then I have this. This is a bronzer by Koki. This is huge. It's 0.59 ounces of product, and it is in the shade Stay Golden. I think if I had a different shade, I might like this. Oh, this is just so orange. So I did get this in my Subscriber Buys My Makeup, that video that I did with JC. And I love the packaging on this guy. I love the little like elephant that it has in there. I think that that is so cute. But look at how orange that is, and patchy nonetheless. It kind of makes my skin look bruised more than anything else. Definitely not bronzed. It's super patchy. It's super like yellow orange, and I can't do that on my face. So I'm going to pass this on. This is really new in my collections. I have this liquid eyeshadow in here. This is one of Stila's Glitter and Glows, and surprisingly, this is the only one of my Glitter and Glows in my collection that is so dried out, you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's flaking off everywhere. It's so dried out, and I don't know how to fix it. And honestly, I got it, I think, at TJ Maxx, so it was probably dried out before I even purchased it. So I'm just not worried about holding on to it. I don't wear them enough anyways to worry about it. And then I also have this liquid eyeshadow by ColourPop. It's one of their Supernova shadows in Lucky Penny. And while I do like liquid eyeshadows, I do not like the ColourPop version. This is beautiful. Is it not? It is beautiful, but I'm going to give it to my daughter, because this doesn't really dry down in a way that is attractive. It likes to crack. When I first started YouTube, one of the very first videos that I put out on my channel that I was super proud about is a comparison video of a bunch of different liquid eyeshadows, and this one was the least favorite of all the liquid eyeshadows because of how it cracked. Just wasn't a super great formula. It showed all the texture, it wore away rather quickly, it didn't like anything underneath it, it didn't like anything beside it. It kind of ate away all the other shadows that you put with it. So I'm going to give it to my little daughter to play with, in addition to this one, which is the Essence Metal Shocks. This was one of the favorites in that video, but this one I would say is hard to get out of the container. And this one seems a little bit more dried out than the other one. I do have this one and a green one. And while this is beautiful, I might repurchase it because it's super dry. And because it's super dry, it's cracking along the edges already, even though I just put it onto my hand, and it's kind of actually clumpy, and that's not something that you want in a liquid shadow. So this is another like liquid type eyeshadow that I'm going to get rid of. This is right along the jelly eyes trend, only before its time. I think this is a Glaze and Eye Gloss by Better London. And the reason why I'm getting rid of this is because it's dried up. Hopefully you guys can see it is no longer a jelly. It's more like a putty. And I just can't even imagine putting this on my eye. It's so clumpy and so thick, and so I might repurchase it because it is pretty. It's also super, super dry and therefore flaking off everywhere. All right, so I have all of these eye crayons that I'm going to get rid of. I think anybody who's not new to my channel knows that eye crayons are not my favorite way of applying, but I've talked about these 5 in particular a few times now. These are by the company Jenna Taylor, and I actually picked these up at Ross, so you should know that they're not going to be great quality anyways. But these 5 eye crayons are like wax coloring crayons, you know, like the cheap brand of coloring crayons. That's kind of what they feel like. That's kind of how they remind me of themselves. And then you put them on your eye and they're like super oily. Look at you guys. They just turn into a gross, oily mess. They're awful. And this is not how eye crayons should perform. Then we have these 2 eye crayons, which actually perform very well. I have 2 eye crayons that are basically this very same shade, and I had to get rid of one. This is the older one in my collection, so I am getting rid of it. It performs really well. It's so pretty and it buffs out really well. I don't know if you guys can see, but how this blended versus how the other ones that I just showed you blend. Night and day difference, and that one blends like it's supposed to. And then I have this one by Smashbox. This was one of the first eye crayons I ever had in my collection. And this one, once you get it in place, it don't go nowhere. But it's pretty old in my collection. I would say this is probably easily 3 years old, so it needs to go. And I have this highlighter. This is by Neutrogena. This is the Neutrogena liquid highlighter in Lunar Eclipse. And this shade that is showing through is the shade. So a little dab will do you. This will last forever to anybody who gets it. This is rather new in my collection, so I may sell this, but I can't. That's just way too much for my skin. I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, I think this is a highlight that I got from my aunt. And then this one is the Milani Strobe Light. I did keep one of these. I have 2, and again, a little dab will do you. I think I maybe even got way too much. This is in 24 karat, right? 24K. This gold highlight is crazy. It reminds me of Trophy Wife, honestly, by Fenty, only a liquid form. Who can wear those? Who can wear those colors? Not me, so they're going. This eyeshadow is by Josie Moran. I tried to depot it. It broke. I tried to put it back together. I think I destroyed the formula of it. So this is just going into the garbage. I have this Rakuten. I don't pull for these very often, even though I love this blush. I just don't pull for these blushes very often. I would rather have this in a larger form because I would pull for it then, but I do think it's in one of my palettes in full size, so I'm gonna get rid of that guy. I have these 2 blushes here. This one is by Ciate. It is the Matchmaker blush. Here's the true tea. This is a beautiful blush. I might put it into, look at how pretty that is. It's just such a glowy blush. I don't find myself pulling for it, but it's such a pretty, pretty blush. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't find myself pulling for it because it's so glowy. Also because it's a mini. I might pick that up in like a full size, and then I could see myself like really using it. And then I have this one by Essence. I love this blush. This was like my favorite peach blush for the longest time. My hand is wet. But it's also kind of got this like sheeniness to it, this kind of glowiness to it. It's a beautiful peach blush. I just don't find myself reaching for it because I have other peach blushes in my collection these days that I also love. Satin Touch blushes, though, in the Essence line are fantastic. They are beautiful. This one is also rather old in my collection, so I just thought it needs to go as well. This is a Pixie by Petra blush, and it is in Beach Rose. It's a blush in my collection that I actually kind of enjoy quite a bit, but it's not one that I pull for anymore. It is super pretty, super dark. It's a beautiful blush, and when buffed out, it's also a beautiful blush. I just don't find myself pulling for it, and you guys can see it's actually kind of patchy. When you can get it to work for you, it's beautiful, but I can't always get it to work for me. So I am also going to get rid of this Pixie product, which is their Beauty Blush Duo in Peach Honey. I just never found myself, I did wear it once, but I never found myself really reaching for it because it's more of a highlight, but it shows a lot of texture. I have to wear them as more of a blush topper, and I don't find myself ever doing that. So then I have this eyeshadow by Wonder Beauty. I reviewed this in a sample Sunday. I didn't like it. It's not, I mean, that looks beautiful, but how it performs in the eye is completely different, so I don't like it. I have this eyeshadow by ColourPop. This is one of the only Super Shocks. These two are the only Super Shocks that I have that are completely dried out that I can't keep in my collection because I wouldn't be able to use them. This one is in the shade Envy, and it's a black base with a purple glitter. I mean, it is pretty. I just don't foresee myself wearing this because it's also super crumbly in there. It's very dried out. And then this one is Mittens. This is, I think, the very first Super Shock I ever put in my collection. So I've had it. I've had this and Envy for like 3 years. This one is so crumbly. It's moving around in there. And this is what that one looks like. It's just more like a paste when it goes on now. And that's not typically how Super Shocks perform. This is one of those Stila Magnificent Metals. So this came with a little like mixing medium that you were supposed to mix it together and make an eyeliner out of it. And you guys, I never used it as an eyeliner. I instead used it as a eyeshadow because I couldn't do that kind of eyeliner when I first started. And I know that looks really beautiful in the screen, but this isn't how it performs on the eye. It's very greasy. It feels very oily on my eyelids. It kind of moves around. It doesn't like to play well with the makeup that I put with it. And then I also have this eyeshadow, and the only reason why I'm getting rid of this single shadow is because I have it in its palette. The last few items from these drawers in my collection are these guys here. So I have this, which is the Bare Minerals Eye Rubber Upper. I couldn't tell you how old this is. They don't make this anymore. I think this is probably easily, I'm embarrassed to say, I think it's probably easily 8-9 years old, and it's got a 6-month shelf life. I haven't used it on my eye, so why it's still in here, I have no idea, but this is going in the trash. Then I have this, which is, it's the highlighter that I just recently reviewed in my sample series by IPSY Beauty. It's just, it's a beautiful highlighter, don't get me wrong. It's just not one that I am pulling for, and I think it's because it is in a single and because it is so dark. I'm going to get rid of that. It is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. Or this is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. The only reason why I'm getting rid of this is because I have a full size. This is an e.l.f. baked highlighter in Apricot Glow. It's really pretty. It's just hard. It's so hard. And it's so hard to get the like payoff that you want from it. So it's too hard. It's too hard to use. I just don't like it. Then I have this. This is a creamed powder eyeshadow from Vincent Longo. I think I got this in an IPSY way back when. It is really pretty. I used to use it as a highlighter, which is probably why it's in my highlight drawer, but I have so many that it gets lost in my collection. This is the Luna by Luna Baked Highlighter in Electra. This is what this one looks like here. This is so pretty, so icy, so beautiful, but again, it just gets lost in my collection because I have so many, and I have a lot that are very similar to it. So, and a lot that are similar to it that I pull from first, and I think that's the biggest transparency here, is these are really beautiful, but I just don't pull for them because I have so many in my collection that I like more. So I pull from those ones first. This one is by Estate Beauty, and this is a baked highlighter in Pearl, and it is a baked Do Me highlighter in Pearl, and it also is beautiful. I have to be honest, baked highlighters are not my favorite, and this one is just, oh my gosh, so stark. All right, I'm gonna gather all this stuff back into this bin, and I'm gonna send you on out to the outro. So that was the end of my declutter. I do hope that you liked today's declutter. I'm hoping that I don't go back and regret my life's decisions after making these declutters, and I guess we will find out in my inventory when we talk about my 2021 inventory, which will come later on in this month. Thank you guys so very much for being here today and watching this declutter happen. It's very heart-wrenching for me to let go of anything. I will just start there. With that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that you enjoyed it so much. So much so that you are considering giving it a big thumbs up. It really does help our channels out here. It also helps YouTube to realize that there are people out there watching our videos, and maybe give them some inclination that they need to also push our videos out to other people who may not be watching our videos, because people like us. People like us out here. It helps my channel grow. It's totally free to do. It's an amazing thing that you can do to help support me. In addition to that, I hope that you liked it, or me, enough that you're considering subscribing to my channel before you go. I would love to have you along for this crazy midlife crisis of mine. But also, I would just love to have you be a part of my amazing YouTube family here. And if that sounds like something you're interested in doing, please don't forget to hit the notification bell, because it will notify you every single time I upload a video. Not every month is like the month of December. Not every month is a month that I am uploading content every single week, but I do upload, or every single day, but I do upload content 3 to 4 times a week, every single week on the regular. So please hit that notification bell. It's going to make sure that you don't miss anything. You continue to see my videos in your feed, so that you can continue to come and watch me, because I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to come and watch me. Like, I can't imagine that I am not that likable. Thank you guys so much for coming to watch my video today. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I really do hope that you want to stick around, but overall, I really do hope that you and yours are well. I hope that you are staying well in the climate that is our country right now. I hope that you are wearing your masks when you go out in public, because we're never going to get out of this if we don't wear our masks, and if for no other reason but to protect yourself, because you never know when that person is out roaming about the countryside with no mask on and is asymptomatic and spreading all the germs to everybody that they come in contact with. I also hope that you are loving each other, but loving each other from afar. Until next time. Bye, everyone.